Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me